So let's talk about how too much stress harms the quality of your work. So imagine you're feeling stressed because you have too much on your plate, or there's a kind of a bullying colleague who's harassing you, you're not getting paid fairly, or you don't feel there's transparency in the workplace. What do those conditions do in terms of the quality of your work? Well, first of all, we know a lot about what happens to you at the individual level of analysis. And what we know very straightforwardly is that when we feel too much stress, it's physically uncomfortable. It actually shifts how we look at the world and process information, so it really narrows our attention to think about the problems in our environment. In that narrowing of attention, what we learn is that stress impedes or undermines our creativity and our productivity. There are studies that show that when we're really stressed out, we can't remember information as well, as effectively, and we can't retrieve what we've been exposed to. We know that stress impedes our capacity to connect to others, to engage in open conversations, and to form those networks that are so vital to innovation and the high quality of work. And then finally, stress manifests in a social style where we seem nervous and agitated and distracted, and other people will find us less trustworthy and less likely to collaborate. Stress, as I've intimated, really affects our social behavior. That can really undermine the quality of collaborative work. So, for example, stress really narrows what we attend to in other people, and we don't hear their out-of-the-box thinking as effectively. It really biases us, regrettably, to be suspicious of other people and to not trust others, which is a foundation of good work in organizations. Stress amplifies our tendency to blame people and to overestimate how much conflict there is. And to really be less likely to smooth over the rough edges in social relationships at work. And then we know that stress, when it really it sort of spreads through teams, makes teams less efficient and effective. It undermines problem solving and information sharing, as has long been observed in the organizational literature. And then finally, when you think about stress affecting the individual, stress influencing social dynamics in dyads and twosomes and teams, that can then spread out to the organization. And we know when there's a lot of stress in an organization, the people working for that organization are more likely to take days off, they feel disengaged, they don't feel committed to their work, they feel burned out, there's a lot of turnover. We know that stressed out organizations are less agile, right? They are not able to think outside of the box, to adapt to different kinds of contexts and changing markets. And then finally, we know that when you think about the effects that we've been talking about of stress, it's going to really harm the interface with other clients and with other constituencies and produce poor service and various kinds of mistakes in organizations that harm the quality of the work. So what we've done and where we're going is we've talked about stress and its consequences and how it affects us in terms of the quality of our thought and our social relationships. And we've just talked about what problems can arise when there's chronic stress at too high a level for people at work, setting the stage for thinking about antidotes to the elevated stress in work.